I'm Johnny Vegas, and you're listening to KopTalk with Dunk. And all you other Liverpool sites, just stop embarrassing yourself, all right?
Yo, what up? This your boy Smooth, straight from New York. You're listening to KopTalk Podcast. Remember this, you never walk alone, but if you fuck with us, you walk with a limp.
All right, guys, how's it going? It is Wednesday, the 8th of March, 2023, and you're listening to the KopTalk Podcast in association with footballclubshares.com, where you can buy real shares in real football clubs. That's right. How's it going, guys? You all right? It's been a while. Do you know what? All the takeover speculation, discussions, arguments, drama, it's run me down, to be honest with you. And I haven't enjoyed, commentating on anything to do with the club, as Rafa would say recently. In fact, I think the last couple of episodes on here were maybe, only about the potential sale of Liverpool Football Club. And I don't know. I've just been honest with you. I think that a lot of people that call themselves content creators or whatnot, I don't even like that. I would never. I started KopTalk as a hobby. Do you know what I mean? I didn't think, I'm a content creator. Just started it as a hobby back in the 90s, and it kind of went from there. And I've obviously seen a lot of changes in all that time. But I think a lot of people that do call themselves content creators, they would be on here pretending they're, everything's fine, everything's happy. Do you know what I mean, guys? Every podcast episode, every video they do on YouTube, maybe, it's happy clappy, and I can't be like that. So I'll always be honest with you. You'll see when I'm enthusiastic, you'll see when I'm fed up, all right? And I prefer that. It's probably not the best thing to do, is to be depressive, when you've got an audience, because you chase people away. But I prefer to keep it real. And the good thing about that is that when I am excited about something, you think, fucking hell, Dunk's, he's quite positive, he's upbeat. So that's a good thing, right? So we are going to touch on it, though. We've got to. And the speculation surrounding a possible sale, investment, minor investment or whatever, has been exceptionally quiet, don't you think? Now, that to me suggests something's happening, all right, somewhere along the line. Because I think that you only hear about these things when something's going wrong, all right, whether it's the owners or whether it's someone interested in, investing or buying the club. I think you only hear about things when something's going wrong. So we're in a period now where things are very quiet. So, obviously I'm monitoring everything to the left of me here. I have two monitors in front of me, two very large monitors, and the one to the left of me is literally just monitoring everything you can imagine online. And the minute anybody says a certain keyword, which you might even hear, I don't know if it's muted or not, but it would ping on, it shows me straight away. So I have certain keywords that I monitor, and I set special configurations of that. So I don't want it when some random person says it. So let's say I'm monitoring Twitter, right? Let's say I'm monitoring Twitter. I don't just want to know every time someone in the world mentions Liverpool takeover, it would drive me mental, right? Think of how many people would be tweeting that. So what I do is I will set certain parameters, like only if it's retweeted 25 times or receive so many comments. Or do you know what I mean, guys? So that way you're narrowing out a lot of noise, So I keep an eye on all this stuff for you. Even when I'm turned off by it all, I'm still watching, I'm still listening. I'm always there, even if I'm quiet. Now, it's not been a great week for me personally behind the scenes either. So I'm not really in that normally Monday I would have been on there making me videos where I'm having a cup of tea and that, and I'm just not in that zone at the moment. But I'll be back, I'll be back. I'm sure as the weekend progresses, we'll be all right. It's just them things that you got going on in your life. February's always a really difficult month for me with the website revenue-wise. And it's just like a battle. It feels like a constant battle to keep your neck above your head above the water, sorry. And, put that in, combine that with all the arguing and the FSG stuff, and it's just like, I don't want to talk about it, all right? But I'm here for you today. So, It's gone very quiet. That, to me, means that something's probably going on. We saw John Henry come out recently, and since then it kind of went quiet. And then we had, I think he was talking to Boston something, wasn't it? I can't remember what it was, some outlet out there. And then the, couple, 2, 3, 4 of the clique of LFC journalists, I think, then wrote fairly warming articles about FSG again, based on his comments, because I think that what happens then is they think, all right, they're going to be staying, so we better, be sure that we're friends, kind of thing. Now, just excuse me 1 second while I reach across to the other side of my desk, because I've just noticed I left my cup of tea over there. Right, I don't want it to go cold, all right? So, like I said, totally, real content on here, guys, you know what I'm saying? Here we go. So I'll try not to drink that and annoy you too much. But if you think I'm going to edit the slurping out, you've got another fucking thing coming. Anyway, so listen. So a couple of these journalists, they came out with the nicey stuff. Now, I think if you ever see, which probably isn't likely at the moment, news that FSG were leaving, all right? And I mean, like, credible, like, yeah, we've got. It looks like a deal's going ahead. I think you would see these journalists turn. I do, honestly. I think you'd see them start being a bit braver. I would argue that some of them have been a little bit braver in the run, during all this speculation. But now that they know that it looks like they probably won't go, they're all like, oh yeah, FSG, very nice, and all that, right? So then, fast forward, a bit of, silence, nothing's really happening. We have the Liverpool game, we smash United. Now, that to me is what football's all about, right? Smashing United, obviously. Ridiculous scoreline. Disgusting scoreline, really. And all I want to do, guys, is talk to you about transfers, what we might win, how we're doing, success and all that. It's shit when you have to talk about miserable things. And talking about the owners is a miserable thing. Who gives a fuck about owners, Well, you do, but what I mean is you don't go in a bar, do you, on a weekend, meet your pals or whatever, and sit down and have a debate about how great or shit your owners are, unless things are going wrong, whatever. We go in a bar, don't we, and we talk about, did you see them, that fucking hell, what is it, goal, or this, that, and the other. We just want to talk about football, right? However, in our situation at the moment, it's been fairly impossible. But the Man United game was incredible. And, I don't understand that team that played against them. Where's that team been? Do you know what I mean? Like, we didn't play a shitty Manchester United side lacking in confidence. It's just incredible, right? It's incredible what we did. And it was the Liverpool of old that we've been missing, right? So, we've got to build on that anyway, right? Let me get the I'm going to get the league table up, etc. In front of me here. So we've got to build on that, right? It's no good smashing Man United 7-0 and then losing 1-0 at Bournemouth on Saturday. You know what I'm saying, guys? And then when you play like that against Man United, I look at the Real Madrid game and I think we can go there and score. If we play like that, we'll destroy them, But who knows? I don't know. Let's take it one thing at a time. But it was just so nice to be talking about football again. And I went live afterwards on KopTalk.tv on YouTube, right? And everyone was buzzing. It was just so nice to have everyone in a good mood. Now, rewind, go back to Saturday night on the stream. I do the Saturday night streaming. And, we have conversations about the owners and everyone's depressed. And if you get one person come in saying, I'm all right with FSG, really, they're not that bad, it sets everyone off. And it just gets on my tits, guys. You know what I mean? So we had that victory. Fantastic, as Brendan Rodgers would say, right? But we also had that the issue of the plane flying over Anfield, yeah, which I got mixed views about it. The lad that organised it commented on one of my videos the other day, and I've seen him on Twitter and stuff like that. And I take my hat off to anyone that wants to make a point or prove a point. I don't care if it's one fan that's behind that, protest or a million. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm all for even listening to the what we would say the little guy, the small guy, or whatever, the person with no voice, the minority, whatever. But it wasn't one guy. It was multiple Liverpool supporters, some of which I imagine will have been in the stadium, but the media won't write that. And it was mocked by that clique of journalists, And straight away they're saying minority, organised by a minority. How do they know it's organised by a minority? How do you know how many people are responsible for that? It is a minority, in my opinion. But how do they know that? You know, I would be wording it differently. I'd say, well, you know, it was a section of supporters, or it was, you know, quite a large, online is quite a large base of supporters, you know, that feel that way. Now, people online, they get ridiculed. You know, they say, it's online. They don't go to the games. What's it going to do with it? But there's more people that don't go to the games, right, than there is that go to the games. Right? That's number one. And those that put down the views of those online, on Twitter, for example, be they journalists or what you guys call top reds, they're all on fucking Twitter too. So don't their opinions count there because they're online? The hypocrisy is incredible. Now, the FSG out banner, fly it over every fucking game from now on if that's how they're going to play. Now, so I take my hat off to anyone that wants to do that. I think it's good because it highlights that someone somewhere is not happy. And if the people in the stadium are going, I don't like this, this is not good. And if there's people saying, well, actually, I think it's right, it means there's a divide, all right? So instead of journalists ridiculing and putting it down, why are they not reaching out to the lad that organised it and giving him airtime and saying, right, okay, we disagree with you, explain yourself? Why are they not doing that? All they want to do is ridicule and put people down. Yeah, they don't care really. So it's I saw comments online saying, well, there's a banner going over FSG out. Didn't see one in the stadium though. And it's like, well, from what I understand or what people are claiming, if you take an FSG out banner into the stadium, it's taken off you or you're told to put it away. So I don't know if that's true. So FSG out, Klopp in, enough is enough. I didn't personally understand the Klopp in bit. I don't think we need to emphasise that. And I will keep it, short and sweet. You know what I'm saying? A bit like my sex life. And I would also, I don't know, it was... I actually think it was I think it did do well. I do think it did well. Because then we see John Henry flushed out, right? And he gives his first interview in ages. It's billed as an interview, by the way, but we'll come to that in a minute. He gives his first interview in a long time to Liverpool Echo, as far as I'm aware. He certainly isn't providing running commentary there. He hides away from the fans in Boston usually, and he hides away from the Liverpool fans. But it flushed him out. Now, you can't say that's coincidence, right? And he's also chosen to speak at a time when Liverpool win 7-0, right? It was a very calculated appearance, in my opinion, regardless of whether you are FSG in or FSG out and all that bores me to fucking death, right? It was a calculated, planned, now's the time to surface, right? So I'm going to come out, I'm going to say whatever. We've just won 7-0. Everyone's in a good mood, apart from, everyone's in a good mood, yes, but people are not stupid. People don't forget. I don't forget. You don't beat Man United 7-0 and then that's it. All right, yeah, all them things I've been, my feelings over the last year, decade, whatever, about FSG now change because we won a game 7-0. It just doesn't work like that. But it's a good time to capitalise, Now, you don't see him come out and surface when we're embarrassed in a game or something like that, do you? Or after a transfer window closes and the fans are disappointed. Now, what I will say about the interview, right? It's billed as an exclusive interview with the Echo, right? Now, to me, that didn't sound like an exclusive interview. It sounded like a statement. And it also sounded like it was conducted by email. Now, I don't know. I've got no proof of that. It didn't sound like an interview. And I tell you why. When he spoke to the Boston, whatever the fuck it was, the other week, I said the same thing in a KopTalk TV video. In fact, I knew that was conducted by email. A lot of people didn't. And it was conducted by email, that we know. And that means a set of questions were provided to John Henry about what's going on over in Boston, which included Liverpool Football Club's situation to do with the sale. And that meant he had time to carefully, respond to every question, right? So if you're in trouble with the old bill, the police, right, and they say, we'd like you to come in for an interview, right? If you could have what they're going to ask you in advance, in an email, that would help, right? If you've done something wrong, you'd be like, oh, fuck, right, I know they're going to ask me this. I know. It's a little bit different to sitting there and having something sprung on you and then going, well, you know, it looks like me, but it weren't me, right? So we know that one was very, very carefully, you know, the answers were spot on, right? He had time to think about it. Now, this interview, exclusive interview, sounds very much like, a statement to me. And we'll go through it, right? We'll go through it. I was really hoping not to spend too much time on this shit, but we've got to do it. Excuse me, I'm just having some of my tea. In a rare interview, it says here, Henry has now spoken exclusively to the Echo about the current state of play with regards to investment, FSG's commitment to the future, and plans in the transfer market. Now, the opening statement says this. This is exactly how it starts. So where's the question? All right. This is the answer, apparently. While we formalise the process that has identified potential investors for the club, we remain fully committed to the long-term success of the club, said Henry. Right? That has been the case since day one in 2010. Our efforts every day have been and continue to be focused on the long-term health and competitiveness of the club. Investment in the club is never for the short term. This approach has been successful over the long haul with patience necessary from time to time. Okay? It now then goes to in regard, right? So, in regard, that sounds like you've been asked a couple of... In regard to Liverpool Football Club, our commitment remains stronger than ever. The club continues to make great progress with youth on the field and off. I'm not interested in youth, I've got to be honest with you. I'm interested in today, right? I love to see starlets. I love to see, you know, young players coming through the academy and stuff like that. But, you know, they're obsessed with youth when you're owners. I remember when I went to Dallas, when Tom Hicks invited me over there, and I remember being stood in his office and he was saying to me, Duncan, you know, the importance is the youth, the kids. And I was like, yeah. I says, we've got, you know, some good 14, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds. And he went, no, we need to get them younger than that. He was like, we need to get them when they're 6, 7 and all like. So the emphasis was on like, you know, we could get all these kids and they're going to be world beaters, hopefully, you know, save money. It's common sense. We know that, you know, you producing your own players is better than anything, right? But I just found it strange that he brought up youth. Anyway, he says our foundation is well supported and continues to quietly expand the importance of its work in different ways, looking for as many small kindnesses as possible, individually and hopefully cumulatively. Sorry, I pronounced that a bit strange. The people of this club, starting with its manager, its players, and everyone from stewards to management, are committed to the club locally, committed to maintaining the club's great history, and equally committed to making new history in a way that our supporters can be proud of. Being a part of this club is something no one takes for granted. So, this interview is obviously conducted, he's over there. The journalist is in Liverpool, I assume, certainly in the UK. And if this was an interview, why can't they conduct it on video or something? Do you know what I mean? Like, that would be what I would be aiming for anyway. Again, I'm just trying to say, like, this to me is a statement. It's not an interview. I don't believe this journalist has sat on the phone. This is not how interviews are. Look, I know what I'm talking about. I do this shit for a long time. Okay, so anyway, one area that this is the journalist. One area that has been a focus for Liverpool fans is the transfer market, with the Reds likely to have to spend a considerable amount this summer due to the need for something of a rebuild in key areas, particularly midfield. Investment into the first team is set to arrive this summer, but Henry has stressed that the building of the club will continue to be done in a responsible manner. We continue building at Liverpool Football Club in a responsible manner, said Henry. We've seen many football clubs, and in brackets it says including LFC previously, go down unsustainable paths. We have and will continue to focus our attention on investing wisely in the transfer market, and we remain incredibly proud of our squad. That's just drivel to me. Anyway, I bet he don't know that. Look, we're all proud of our players, but I won't be proud of that aging squad, certainly not. At the time we continue investing in our training facilities, our main stand, and currently the Anfield Road stand. At the same time we continue investing in our training facilities, our main stand, and currently the Anfield Road stand. These are all physical reflections of our resolve and how very seriously Fenway Sports Group takes its responsibilities for this great club. Right? So, when they talk about Liverpool Football Club previously going down unsustainable paths. Now that sounds like this is the journalist, right, inserting that in brackets, okay? Because usually when there's like when someone breaks off mid-sentence or something like that, you might see a ... and then you see them other brackets, like them square brackets. I don't know what you call them, to be honest with you. Maybe someone can educate me all these years and I don't know. Or I don't know. Usually, like basically, if you see something when they're in them square brackets, that is like you are certain that's what the player, the person being interviewed, is responding to. Right? It's just to help the reader a little bit. When it's in brackets, I think that's more opinion by a journalist. I'm getting really technical with this stuff. I hope you understand. I don't think it's that important, but it's important in the sense that John Henry didn't say that if it's in brackets. Okay, he can't have done. That's not. But people might think that he did. So I just want to change that response or the statement, the words he's saying there, to we've seen many football clubs go down unsustainable paths. He doesn't mention Liverpool. The journalist is putting in brackets, including Liverpool previously. So the journalist here, Dave Powell, is basically trying to tell you or to plant the seed in your head that Liverpool previously went down an unsustainable path. I don't believe that's an accurate statement. When Henry's talking about we've seen many football clubs going down unsustainable paths, that's talking about reckless spending. Yeah, on transfers that you can't afford and things like that. And, like we saw it with Leeds United years ago. Do you remember that? Like how they carried on and stuff. And sometimes football clubs will gamble and it can backfire. I don't remember at any time Liverpool Football Club ever being reckless like that. When we had the financial problems, that was because the people that bought the club, hit that. I can't remember, what was it called? Just like a worldwide financial crash or crisis at the time, yeah. And their whole thing, went wrong. I'm trying not to swear because this will probably be available on YouTube later. It went wrong, right? And we entered into a difficult period under their ownership because of that. Had those markets not collapsed at the time and their finances remained okay, I always wonder what might have been under them too. You never know, right? I know you won't like me saying that because everybody's just, we'll only judge them on all the ill feeling after everything went wrong, okay, pear-shaped. But Henry says we've seen many football clubs go down unsustainable paths. I think the journalist is wrong here. Is wrong to do this by including LFC previously in brackets. That's to make you. It's kind of like he's kind of backing John Henry up. He's kind of like making it easy for John Henry there. Okay, but I don't believe John Henry said that bit. And then he talks obviously about investing in the training facilities, the main stand, and currently the Anfield Road stand. So we'll continue. More blurb. Then the journalist goes on to talk about when FSG acquired the club back in 2010 from the near ruinous regime of Tom Hicks and George Dillett, again reminding you of how awful it was back then. In other words, aren't we lucky to have FSG now, right? He then goes on to say, you are right, there are ever-increasing financial challenges in the Premier League. The league itself is extraordinarily successful and is the greatest football competition in the world, but we've thought for some time there should be limits on spending so that the league doesn't go the way of European leagues where one or two clubs annually have a little competition. Excitement depends on competition and is the most important component of the Premier League. So this is all to do with, when they originally bought the club, they bought the club because of financial fair play. And I don't believe they would have bought the club if it hadn't been, if they knew that financial fair play was going to bomb. And should there be limits on spending, guys? Feel free to email me podcast@koptalk.com or go to KopTalkPodcast.com and click on the contact form. Should there be limits on spending? I'm not sure there should be. If a club is successful, if Liverpool Football Club is more successful, why should we, have a limit on our spending, versus a club that is not as successful? Like if you say, right, you've all got the same, you can only all spend this, blah, 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 whatever, right? Maybe he doesn't mean that. What about reckless spending? A club shouldn't, spend hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds and be in debt and stuff. Fine, yeah, I agree with that to an extent. But if Real Madrid or Barcelona continue to do that and then one day they're in serious financial trouble, that's their problem, right? The point is, for decades, right, if not 100 years or more, football clubs have managed to buy and sign players that have got different amounts of wealth. Each club's got different amounts of wealth, and the game's been all right. It's not really my concern if a team down the division can't compete with us financially. Then they need to get their house in order then, don't they? It's that simple. We can't compete with Manchester City. So John Henry is basically crying about that, right? And I wish we could compete with some of these other clubs, but I still wouldn't want us to be reckless. But, it all sounds very good, financial fair play and stuff like that. Maybe them kind of rules would work better down the divisions. I don't know. But basically their entire ownership, they bought that club because they thought financial fair play was going to help them. And I think it was very naive, because I think it shows that they didn't know anything about football, to be honest with you. Because when they started bigging up financial fair play, I was like, yeah, right, let's see it come into practice, Anyway, that's by the by. Maybe we shouldn't focus too much on that. Henry also commented, this is the journalist, right? Henry also commented on FSG President Mike Gordon's position. Why does it say that? Why does it say Henry commented? Also commented. Why does it say, I then asked John Henry about FSG President Mike Gordon's position. Do you get me drift here, guys? So the wording is basically confirming what I believe, that this is just a statement. An email's been rattled off, right? Blah, blah, blah. And he's responded and had time to think about his answers. Nothing wrong with that. I just think that the fans are being played a little bit here. So Henry also commented on FSG President Mike Gordon's position, with Gordon having been seconded to handle the search for investment for the club, a search being facilitated by US investment banks, Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley. We have someone, I believe that they're associated a little bit with the knowledge of Goldman Sachs and Liverpool Football Club in this process. And I do believe that person suggested that there was contact between Goldman Sachs and I'm not going to say who, but just connections with Dubai. That was a while ago. It doesn't mean anything. It might have been a single email. Who knows? But I do know you should just pay attention to the comments on my YouTube videos always whenever I do anything along those lines. And if you watch the video when it goes live, when it's published, go back 3-4 days later and check the comments again, because we do have verified, people that I know personally that are quite intelligent and stuff like this. I haven't got a clue about investment. I don't care about all that stuff. Anyway, so Gordon has been the most hands-on member of the FSG senior management at Anfield for more than a decade, but transferred much of his day-to-day responsibilities to Red CEO Billy Hogan last summer. Henry said, Mike remains fully committed to the club. He did take time off for a while this winter, but he's a long way off from retirement. Billy continues to be a driving force for the club. As CEO of the club, his remit is much larger than most people would think. Jurgen and Billy are a very strong combination and work very well together. So, does that sound like an interview to you? Doesn't sound like an interview to me. It sounds like, a publication, a media outlet, i.e. the Liverpool Echo, with journalists that won't ask the awkward questions. Where I didn't see a question asked anywhere in that, I think that's just been an email rattled off and he's had time to think what about he's going to say. It's a very, very hard, it's just a thought out thing. And I'm not trying to cosh John Henry here, because I'm now at the point where I'm like, you know what, I don't care now. Who owns the club? I'm just going to watch the football. That's how I feel at the moment, right? But I do feel that the Echo there, and that journalist in particular, and John Henry are mugging the fans off a little bit with that response. Now, to me, it doesn't fill me with confidence. It doesn't say I could actually change my feelings about John Henry if he came out and went, you know what, it might have been a minority that flew that plane, all right? But we take on board the views of everyone that supports our club. And if there is a divide, that's something we need to look at and make sure that we can convince those people to have faith in us. That's all I want to hear him say, And I'm not sure really there's much more I can add to that. But I think that the Anfield plane while it might have rattled what you call the top Reds, certain journalists out there, Olympic tears and all that, I think that it did make a difference. I really do. And I think John Henry's picked the perfect time to come out and basically tell us a load of rubbish, really. His quotes are they're not very exciting, they're not very enthusiastic, they're just drivel. And I think that he's picked the right time to do it. He's responded when there is a little bit of drama, a talking point regarding their ownership. We know a plane's not going to make them sell the club or anything or change their strategy. When I say a plane, I mean the message on the banner. But I think it would be wrong for the people that are mocking those that will organise that to say it makes no difference because he surfaced straight away. Some people might say, he's surfaced to capitalise purely on the great mood in the fan base at the moment following the 7-0 drumming of Manchester United. That is very, very possible. That could be the real reason. I would say that it's both. I'd say, well, now's a good time to respond to that email from Dave Powell, right? But there ain't no mentions of that plane. If that was an interview, what would you ask him? I'd be saying, all right, John, that's great, all that, that's good. The fans want to know how much you care about the club, but have you got a comment about that plane that flew over Anfield? It's just absolute nonsense, so I think people have been mugged off with that one. I want to make it clear, right? I never wanted these people to own the club from the start. You guys that have followed me since back then know that. I went out to Boston. I met people they do business with. I met their drivers, their chauffeurs, people they employ. I got the inside track on who they were. And that was at the very start, right? So that's before we had any of this negativity or anything. Yet I still came back before anything happened with them and said to you guys, right, the message is from Boston, they will manage your expectations. They like to be successful. They're ruthless. But it's just money. That's it. And we're not naive to think that it's not about money. But I don't have a problem with anyone making money, right? If the team's successful. But I would rather have owners from the Middle East, for example, that are football fans that want to be competitive. That's it. That's all I want. Run the club. I don't want FSG to spend hundreds of millions of pounds on players, individual players. I just want the manager to be given the backing when he wants a £25 million player. And we've seen it before. I can't remember, when was the window, guys? Do you remember when? I can't remember when it was, but, we were desperate. The boss was desperately trying to do something. It was it's subject to Shaqiri and Origi going, I think it was. Otherwise, nothing will happen. And it's just those kind of things. I don't think that these guys are very ambitious, and I think we're being mugged off. I think minor investment doesn't help us. I think it buys them more time. It'll give them maybe another 5 or 8 years before they need to start thinking about stuff. A minor investor, I could get someone to come in today and say, I could say to someone, I've had a really difficult February. I could do with an investor right now, to help me out over the next few years because I'm a bit skint. I need to buy some new computers. That's like buying new players, right? My computers are old. I need a rebuild in my office here. I need an investor to come in, and they go, all right, we'll give you 3-4 grand, 5 grand or something like that. And oh God, that's amazing. That solves my problems, right? But it only solves my problems until them computers are old again. And during that period, the next 5-10 years or whatever, the computers start to slow down. My investor that gave me 5 grand is going to be looking for a little bit back somewhere along the line or something that benefits them. And they're not. If I say to them 2 or 3 years later, I need another computer or I need an iPad or I need a new camera, they're going to go, well, we invested, we bought part of it to help you, so we're not going to put more money in, Duncan. All right, that's what they're going to say, guys. And what happens when all that equipment that was amazing and new and fresh, 5 years later, 8 years later, starts slowing down, or I break something, maybe do you know what I mean? Maybe it's the equivalent of an injury or something. I don't know. They're not going to give me more money. I'm back in the same situation again. And when people have tried to invest in KopTalk over the years, I've always said to them, this isn't about me getting money for me personally. I've rejected huge sums of money for KopTalk back in the day. When I look at it now, I should have accepted it really, but I couldn't do that to the people the people that supported me. I had a lot of respect for the fans and stuff like that have helped me and been there and walked with me through my hardest days. I couldn't do that. Money wasn't the issue, and it isn't today. I just want to get by. That's all I want to do is get by. And I've always said to people that have wanted to buy into KopTalk, it's not really the money that I want, to be honest. Like, yeah, I would like to buy some new computers and things like that, and I've done that when people have backed me over the years. I've got Let's Make KopTalk TV great again, for example. If you go to KopTalk.tv, you'll see the recent stuff that I bought for my computer. No one's really supported me, probably a dozen people or something like that. It's hard, it's hard. But you know what? What I would rather have than financial support is someone like me that could say, right, I'll help you with this. I'll fix that problem with you, don't. If the website needs an upgrade or something needs dealing with, I have to do everything. So to me, it's not just about money to invest. It's about having additional expertise to help you. So if we get a minor investor, that's just money. It's a short-term fix. And I don't think it fixes the problem. My watch has just said, stress management, how are you feeling? It's detected a change. That's because I'm getting fucking stressed. I swore. So if someone, imagine someone like buying into the club with that expertise that could say, well, we're soccer people, football people. I hate that soccer, but, I don't know why I said that. But, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Anything that helps the club. It doesn't always have to be money. And I just think that minor investment doesn't work. Minor investment doesn't work. And it buys time. That's all. And, I think we're going to have to judge this summer. And I think that we could, like in the summer, if we don't have the financial situation sorted by then, I'm really not sure what's going to happen in the summer. And you're going to have to be very cautious and alert of PR and spin and waffle what happens during the summer if we haven't had the financial situation sorted by then. It's March now. We're not far off the summer. I expect that John Henry has got a private investor lined up that he can get over the line if they want to. I think they're just stalling at the moment to see what else is out there, maybe watching what's going on at Manchester United. I do not know. I do believe they would sell the club in its entirety. But the problem is, are people willing to meet the valuations of that club and also Manchester United, yeah? Now, I was just going to see if I can see in the comment section to this article, someone's put Boston bots spending all day deleting posts they don't agree with. So the people must be commenting and having the post deleted. Someone's put responsible manner means they won't be spending a lot on transfers. Someone's put take shelter, the Boston bot holes are deleting posts left, right and centre. Sometimes they don't like what they read, bless them. Someone's quoted, investment into the first team will continue to be done in a responsible manner, and then said, looks like the model of letting Wolves, Villa, Newcastle and West Ham have a high net spending us in the previous 5 years is set to continue for another 5 years or so. Let's have a look. I'm having to click on the load button. Can't stand you, Henry. You come out giving interviews after we beat Man United 7-0. Thank you for giving all of us hope. You were selling the club and leaving us with all this uncertainty that was surely affecting the team this season. I don't trust you, JWH. Do the honourable thing and sell up. I won't forget your part in the Super League fiasco. Greed, in capital letters. I love my team, but I will never feel anything for these owners who are holding this amazing club back. FSG greed, in capital letters. Someone's put, how I hate to be proved right, but when FSG qualified their search for investors by saying they'd also consider bids for a complete sale, I commented that sure, they'd listen to bids around 6 billion, who wouldn't? They were never selling, just another excuse to spend nothing yet again. Someone here's put, these anti-FSG fans are the same clans who hired a £2,000 plane to bash FSG on the day we beat United 7-0. I wouldn't mind, but the guy who paid for it is from Kurdistan and doesn't go to the match. First of all, I don't think it was 2,000. I think it was less than half of that, or more than half of that. How do I do that? I think it was less than £1,000. Sorry. I don't care where the kid lives that organised that. I think it's very disrespectful to say that his comment or his opinions are not valid because he didn't finance that himself. Liverpool supporters from all over supported that, and I know for a fact, because I know people that interact with me that are members that live in Liverpool, that are born and bred in Liverpool, also contributed to crowdfunding of that. Anyway, then everyone's just arguing about that, arguing with each other, etc., etc. So I think you can get the gist of what is happening there. And we're already 40 minutes into talking about the financial situation. So should we move on? I think it was a scripted response. Let me finish my tea. I think it was scripted. I think it was well thought out, and it does not fill me with much enthusiasm. I might be being naive here, but I'm still going to I'm still going to hold the faith, keep the faith, if you like, with regards to a full sale at some point. But John Henry's face is on the screen right in front of me, and I want to slap him. I'm a passive person. I'll tell you right now, when I read that the first time myself, whenever it was, yesterday maybe, I won't say what I said out loud, but basically it was, just off John Henry. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just nonsense. So all we can do is wait and see what happens in the summer. And I don't think that these people that would be interested in buying Liverpool Football Club, I don't think they'll pay over the odds for a club. Whether it's United or Liverpool, I don't think these people will do that. So I think John Henry's probably going to have to go down the route of getting a minor investor and just sell a bit here, sell a bit there, and they'll try. They need to pull something off in the summer if that's what happens, or if nothing happens, they need to pull something off in the summer. And if you think Jude Bellingham is the exclusive answer to the future of Liverpool Football Club, I think you're deluded. Honestly, I really do. And I'm just praying something changes, because I would love to go into the summer and be really upbeat and have a right good, I love interacting with you guys. I know lots of you come on the streams, or your members on the forums, wherever you are. I know that many of you listen to this, interact with me, and there's nothing that makes me happier than seeing you guys absolutely buzzing, with when things are going right, like the win over United. So I really, really want to, I would love to think that we're going to have a summer like that. It makes a difference to my private life, my personal life. Like, when things are going wrong at home, right, the last few days, things have been a bit difficult for me, right? And February was a terrible month, as many of you that are close to me know. It's hard, guys. I'm trying not to swear. It's hard trying to keep all this KopTalk stuff going by myself, right? And when things are going difficult in your private life and at home, and then you've got to come and talk about depressing stuff and see my fellow supporters run down and fed up, it's so draining, all combined together. When things are going right at home, I can take these things on. Do you know what I mean? When positive things are happening with the club, that encourages me then at home to go, it doesn't matter, does it? Liverpool beat United 7-0. Do you know what I mean? And it makes your life happier. I've said this many times over the years. Liverpool Football Club is supposed to be an escape from our lives when things are going wrong, when bereavement, financial problems or relationship problems. I've gone through all of those in my time running this website, right? And Liverpool's supposed to be a release. Yeah, when my mum was in hospital very, very poorly for 8 months and eventually died, bless her, right? One day when Rob, my son, was 10 or 11, I think, at the time, my mum said, "You two get yourself off to football." She was in hospital, right? And she said, "You two get yourself off to football. See when you get back." I went, "Well, Mum, I don't want to leave you." She was like, get you two go to football. And it was Liverpool versus Manchester United. And we won the game. And me and Rob, you don't forget what's going on in your life. But come on then, Rob. Come on, let's go and watch football. We obviously had tickets, season tickets. So I could go or not, whatever. And just for a few hours, we got away from something that was horrendous happening in my life, and I'm sure Rob's life as well, bless him. And for that 90 minutes, you do forget the stuff that's going on in your life. And then you leave, and then, you go back to reality. I get it. It's temporary. And you go, I was back at the hospital that night, and, Mum, we beat them. Nice one, son, and all that. And then you're back to your reality again. those of you that are diehard supporters, and not just casual supporters that just turn the TV on or go to the odd game, or some of you, I reckon the majority of you are like really like deep with it, and you know, you examine everything like I do because you really, really like want to know everything that's going on and you want the best for your football club. There's nothing wrong with being a casual supporter, but I know I could speak to some Liverpool supporters and go, what do you think about the owners? And they'd go, well, I don't even know who the owners are, because some people are not that deep. That doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with them. They've probably got busy lives, so I probably don't care, and I don't blame them. Because at one time I couldn't have told you anything about the owners, do you know what I mean? I could tell you who the chairman was, but as a kid, for example, I wouldn't have known who the chairman was. And it just seems like this is all we talk about. So when you want to escape the misery and the struggles of your life, this isn't what you want to be reading. And you don't want to go online and go on your Twitter account or your Facebook and go, oh, you know, sick of these owners now. And then have someone just be like, you know, so mean and awful to you that's supposed to be a fellow supporter and be toxic and nasty and tell you that you're not from Liverpool, it's nothing to do with you. It's not what you want to hear. And it's just all that stuff, all that negativity that's swirling around this issue that really saddens me. It really does, guys. When everything's going right for me at home and everything, you know, and the website is ticking over in a better position. February, like I say, February is terrible every year. I'm skint in February. And March, and now I'm like, oh, God, you know, I need to get that overdraft cleared and get back into it, you know. When all that's going right, when KopTalk's going right, when the Liverpool's more ambitious and the fans are all celebrating and being nice to each other, my life is heaven. Honestly, guys, it really is. And, you know, just on Sunday, for example, when we beat the Scum, you know, just for them few hours and, the chats with you guys, it took me away from everything. All that negativity that we have in our lives. I know that whether you are, you know, not that bothered about the ownership, FSG in, FSG out or whatever, I know that you will agree with me and say this is just stuff that we don't want to be debating. We just want a successful football team. That's all we want, right? And you know what? I can even accept a team that is not a team that is not successful if I feel everybody's on the same page. The owners are trying their best. That's it. And I don't believe FSG are the owners to try their best for Liverpool Football Club. Okay. Can we find something else to talk about? Let's have a look. Is there anything that I can mention to you? Liverpool goalkeeper Marcelo Pitaluga is being trapped by AC Milan and Atletico Madrid. The Reds' Brazilian shot-stopper joined the club in 2020 from Fluminense, but the 20-year-old is still waiting to make a first-team appearance for Jurgen Klopp's side. He joined non-league Macclesfield at the start of the season and made a positive impression while representing the Silkmen, but saw his loan spell interrupted after suffering ankle ligament damage. He has since returned to Liverpool and is continuing to train with the first team. Now, Football Insider, which isn't a website that I would pay much attention to, but it doesn't mean that they're wrong on this occasion, have suggested that AC Milan and Atletico Madrid are long-term admirers of him and sent scouts to watch him in action for Liverpool's win over Arsenal on Monday at under-21 level. The two clubs are said to have delivered rave reviews about the keeper. James Milner has expressed his desire to keep helping Liverpool and contributing to Jurgen Klopp's side despite entering the final months of his current deal. He's 37 now. He'll be out of contract at Anfield at the end of June after penning a one-year extension. But he's basically said that, I think he said he spoke to Chris Kamara, who had told him you can play as long as you can. And, obviously he's just picked up his MBE, which was great to see. He was asked whether he was still enjoying playing football at 37. He said it's easy to say yes after the result we had at the weekend. He's not going to give up. If you can keep doing a job, fair enough. But I always think like his place in his squad is taking up progression. But he's done a job. But I mean, at some point, I don't know. I saw him play recently. I don't know what game it was, and I was like, he's done. He's not the Milner I'm used to seeing. But I wish him well. I just don't know what's going to happen on that front. Would he be highly involved with our competitors? That's what I wonder. Liverpool are believed to have sent scouts to watch Benfica duo Antonio Silva and Florentino Luis in action during the Eagles' recent league fixture with Famalicão. Is that how do you pronounce that? Famalicão? A 2-0 victory on Friday helped Benfica move 8 points clear at the top of the table as their superb season continues. So, and it says here that those catching the eye are 19-year-old centre-back Antonio Silva and 23-year-old midfielder Florento Lewis, who are said to have been scouted by Liverpool last week. That's according to a latest report which states Tottenham Hotspur are also monitoring the duo. And that latest report, which isn't mentioned in that blurb, but there is a link to it, is 90min.com. Again, not something that I'd be paying too much attention to. You've got to understand that those two sites I've just mentioned, they're just citing news from elsewhere. They don't know what's going on. Liverpool are reportedly keen on Ajax defender Jurier Timber. He's a 21-year-old who's linked to United prior to the start of the current campaign, which would have seen him reunited with Erik ten Hag. It's claimed by 90min.com that United's interest remains and was never lost, but Tottenham and Liverpool have been given a mention with it. It says that Tottenham and Liverpool are described as also being eager to strike a deal. And speaking recently, he said he'll make a decision on his next move in the coming months. One more for you. Sky Germany is saying that Leipzig defender Josko Gvardiol is among Liverpool's list of targets. The 21-year-old is in high demand and further raised his reputation after an impressive World Cup campaign with Croatia, which ended with his own country finishing the tournament in third place. Liverpool are understood to be one of the teams chasing his services, as reported by Sky Germany, but no negotiations have taken place as yet. He's got a release clause of £98 million, and that is set to be active from the summer of 2024. Right, what else have we got for you? Is there anything in the mainstream media today? Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea, and Liverpool remain interested in Moses Caicedo. Is that how I can't remember how you pronounce it. It's been a while since we've mentioned him. Despite the 21-year-old Ecuador midfielder signing a new contract with Brighton last week, that's again Football Insider. Real Madrid head of recruitment that's going to be Huni, isn't it? Huni Calafat held a meeting with the father of Borussia Dortmund's England midfielder Jude Bellingham 19 at a London hotel on Tuesday. Foot Mercato. That comes from France. Pochettino wants to return to Spurs if Conte leaves in the summer. That's the Times. Liverpool, Man United and Tottenham have asked to be kept informed of 27-year-old France midfielder Adrien Rabiot's contract situation at Juventus. 90min. We can dismiss that. The Mail say Newcastle United have joined the race to sign Chelsea and England midfielder Mason Mount, 24. Mason Mount is a name that you need to keep an eye on, guys. I think KopTalk, I think it was January 23rd, 26th, or somewhere around then. We went with, we were informed that, we were informed of who it was. I think it was on the members' website. Who exactly representing Mason Mount met with Liverpool officials. I think we had a when and a where and stuff like that. I can't remember, but it was certainly a while ago. And we've obviously now got the media have been catching up with this recently, Liverpool's interest. I do think Mason Mount is under consideration, and I think you should watch that. I must stress under consideration. And when a player is under consideration, there are many players under consideration. Yuri Tielemans, another one, he's going to be a free. So it's obvious that you're going to look at players like that, and Liverpool will be doing, and it might not set you like a light thinking, we need better than that or whatever, but you got to look at your bench, you got to look at your squad, as Rafa would say, and these would be good additions to the Liverpool squad. There's no doubt about it. I want to skip out a load of guff, to be honest with you, because I'm conscious of the length of the podcast. Don't forget you can email me, podcast@koptalk.com. If you email me when you listen to this, I will read your emails out this week. I will do another episode for you. Let's try and get back into the podcast that we like that do not focus on John W. Henry. The Times are saying that talks between Manchester United and potential buyers of the club will begin this week with a Qatari group fronted by Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani, thought to be the frontrunner. Imagine if you work at a call centre, he rings you up. Can you imagine that? How can I help you, sir? Yeah, I just want to speak to you about me mobile phone bill. Sure, what's your name, please? Yeah, it's Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani. Could you just spell that for me, sir, please? Skip. We don't want to know what's going on at the other clubs unless it affects us. Right, last one, mail. Everton owner Farhad Moshiri has decided against selling the club as he is concerned that could attract scrutiny from the government because of his links with sanctioned oligarch Alisher Usmanov. American investment fund MPS Sports Capital is expected to take a minority stake instead. So, talking of capital, listen out for Bain Capital. I need to be on the members' website. Let's have a look. They're talking about Yuri Tielemans. Someone says he's on 120 grand a week, which seems more realistic to me. Someone must have said that he was on a higher salary, and he was looking for 200,000 from Arsenal in the summer. Would be happy if he signs. His fitness record is very good. He's only missed 20 games since 16-17. Someone's put lots of debate on the members' website today. Come and join the members' website, KopTalk.com. Look on the right-hand side. Get in the squad. Get on there. Get on there with me. Help a brother out. And you will meet some of the best Liverpool fans you could possibly meet. Trust me. So we've got, in the scouting department, we have updates, ongoing updates with Tielemans, Mason Mount and Jude Bellingham. They're the three stickies in that section at the moment, which are worth paying attention to. There is a thread about Roberto Firmino, of course. Great to see him score against the enemy. And, we'll be sad to see him go. But again, I think it's probably the right time. In the club sale investment, we're talking about, the John Henry quotes, obviously, and there's a few people arguing. Someone's put, sorry to nitpick, but surely somebody of his wealth can afford to pay somebody who knows how to write properly. That's because people are going along the suggestion, that they think, some people like me think that it was a statement and not an interview, and they think it was poorly written. Anyway, I'm not going to go that deep into it. So, let's give a shout out to the squad, okay? You guys, I'm going to give a shout out to. I wouldn't be here without you guys. You're absolutely incredible, and I really do mean that from the bottom of my heart. I can't thank you enough, honestly, and you really do help me, okay? It's a difficult time of the year. I'm hoping in a couple of months I can be more positive, but it's not good. You can support this podcast by going to www.KopTalkPodcast.com, and for the cost of a coffee once a month, or a beer, however you want to look at it. I don't drink beer, it's vodka Diet Coke at the moment. You can become a supporter of this podcast and have the adverts removed, listen to extra additional episodes that are published when they're more private, when I want a quiet life. They are, available to you. So basically, if you support the podcast, you're getting the adverts removed and you can listen to bonus content. And there is bonus content on there. Okay, so www.KopTalkPodcast.com for that. And you obviously get a shout out on the next episode if you join up. Yes, that's right. So thank you to those of you on the old legacy tier, the fan tier. That's no longer available, but I do appreciate you guys for getting on board with me. I did that to help people out, because I know times are difficult for a lot of people as well. So thank you to the supporters: Wayne Brown, Tom Brown, TG, Simon. We got Mark Bingley. That is. We got Jamie motherfucking Gilmore. We got Harry. We got Amza 1996. I'll get told off by YouTube now, won't I? Because the podcast will be uploaded to YouTube as well. We have Glyn Taylor, of course, Craig Halford. We got Clint. We have Aaron O'Dowd in there as well. He's been with me on the podcast since May 2020. We got Tyler Dean Williams. He is a legend, actually. We're going into the legends now. Tyler Dean Williams, Paul MC. We got Matt. We got Mika. We got James Lee. We got Jack Wood. We got Big Wave Dave and Andrew Evans. They're all legends. And we two of the supporters I missed off, James Braid and Liam Buckland as well. Yeah, sorry guys. Then we have our royalty: Michael Couchman, John Watt, David Sutcliffe, and Adam Naylor. Adam Naylor's got a great YouTube channel. Look him up, Naylor. He's the only Liverpool FC content creator, if that's what you call him, that I follow. So I don't know if that means he's any good. It just, I think he's good. I don't know if it's an endorsement he wants to hear, but In all my years, 25 years, I don't follow anyone to do Liverpool. But I like listening to Adam, and I know his heart's in the right place, and he's a rookie, and you should go and support him if you've got YouTube. So www.KopTalkPodcast.com, all right? If you want to join the squad, or, you know what I mean, like you go and be a KopTalk VIP member at KopTalk.com. You know what I'm saying? Or you can come to the streams when we do them on a Saturday night and buy me a beer. So I don't know if I'm doing one this Saturday. I'm yet to make a decision because I'm not sure I'm in a good mood at the moment. But maybe that's what I need. We'll make a decision on that later in the week. I do appreciate you guys and the patience of those of you that support this podcast. You could be moaning at me saying you haven't done one dunk, but I like to provide content when there's something worth talking about, and not regurgitating stuff. So it is my intention to be back with you tomorrow or Friday. I would love some emails from you if you've got any thoughts. It gives us something else to talk about. I don't mind you emailing me about FSG, and John Henry and the potential sale of the club. It's all relevant, and you might give a different angle on things. I don't care if you're FSG in, FSG out, or whatever, I would just love to hear from you, as I would any of you, anything, any football topics, any Liverpool topics, you can open up your email client now, podcast@koptalk.com, and I guarantee your email will be read out, all right? Unless something terrible happens, which I hope it won't. All right, guys, thanks for listening. If you're listening on YouTube, do, of course, drop a comment. I'm very grateful to the support that you all give me, and let's hope we see some, brighter, more happier, positive days in the not too distant future. Okay, guys, take it easy. All right.